YouTube, Dr. Evette here, and welcome back to my channel. Okay, the holiday season is over, and so it is time to get everything cleaned up and packed away until next November. And so I've grabbed a few of my home goods bags that are paper bags to recycle my lights. I do plan to put these lights in the back on my back deck and let them just burn out. So here I'm just wrapping them around my arms so I can put them in the bag and wait till it get a little bit warmer so I can wrap them around my back deck and let them burn out. It's really not worth packing them away to store them for next year because they were only $2 and I believe 39 cents at my local Lowe's, and so it's not worth hanging on to those for next year. And so after I get all of that cleaned up, my husband comes and helped me get the hay stored on the side of my fence that I built, me and my mom. And after that, it's just getting the roses packed up and put away because we're supposed to have an Arctic blast, and that's a mixture of rain, sleet, and perhaps some snow. This is very uncommon for the area that we're living in now, but I'm going to prepare for that. So I'm going to put my roses that are in containers on my back screened porch to try to protect them from this Arctic blast. So if this is something that you're interested in, it's just me doing a little winter gardening the best I can as a beginning gardener. But if it's something that you're interested in, continue to watch. Here I make a decision to remove the hostas from my front porch. I'm not real sure if hostas can handle being in a container, but I tried it, and because they were on my front porch, they should have done very well because they don't require sun. But somehow I managed to kill them. So I'm going to take them out of these containers and find me something else to go inside of these containers. I thought the hostas were going to do very well, but I managed to kill them somehow.
I went to go grab my hand shovel because it made it easier to dig up the hostas that are no longer living and to be able to make sure I get all of the root ball.
At every point in this cleanup, I have decided to take my hand shovel to just play around in the dirt to make sure that I've gotten all of the old roots out, because I've learned from one of my favorite YouTubers, Garden Queen, shout out to Garden Queen, how she repurposes her soil. And I noticed that she's not the only one. So I am trying to save some of this soil so that I don't have to purchase so much. But I just use my hand shovel, kind of pedal around in the soil to make sure I got all of the roots from the previous plants out so that I can reuse the soil. To remove the flowers over in this area probably was one of my most disappointing removals. My coleus did so beautifully this summer, and so to walk over and just see how dead this plant is, well, actually it was three that I planted up, kind of made me sad because they were so pretty this summer. But hopefully they will be exceptionally pretty and beautiful this summer coming 2025. And I'm only going to plant one in that pot. I had three. It made it nice and full, but now that I've learned how big and beautiful they can grow when you fertilize them, next year I will only plant one. But this was a little tedious, just cleaning up, but I kind of enjoyed being outside even though it was cold. So my husband finally made it around to the front side of the yard where I was working to remove the hay. And remember, we're going to use this hay throughout the garden just to cover up certain places and also to protect some of our flowers that will remain outside. Here, I have made a decision to keep the plastic pots that these three poinsettias were in. The poinsettias died day 2 from the moment I sat them on the front porch. I did not realize that poinsettias are a tropical type of plant and that they like 68 plus degree weather. The first night that it got into the 40s, 2 days after I bought them, they died. And so because I wanted these pots, I just sat them on my back porch till I got an opportunity to come and destroy them, put them in the trash. $30 gone down the drain because they were $9.98. But I guess I shouldn't say down the drain because I am going to keep the plastic gold pots that they were in and use them at some point in my garden. Over by the swing in the rose garden, I have made a decision to stack all of the pavers up underneath the bench because the roses are going to be put in my screen porch off of the back deck. And so I was just assessing the area to make sure that after we move all the roses away, what am I going to have to do to build up this area, because we do have dirt coming in when our guy come to install our sprinkler system. So I was just looking around just to see what do I want to do or need to do in this area just to build it up and to make it more level for when I bring the roses back out in the spring. We are relocating more roses, the ones that are here at the front of the house. My Coco Loco, my favorite rose at this moment, and I believe the other one is a Black Beauty, my second favorite. So I have them at the front of the house, but I don't look like I'm doing much to help my husband, but I am. Once he picked the rose up, I am filling in the area with the mulch. Where it was positioned. And these are two roses that I think I may put in the ground a little bit later, just because I want them to grow up properly. But I'll see. All of this is just a learning curve for me and a work in progress to make. my goodness, a work in progress to just make sure that I get my garden the way that I really want it to be. Okay, my gardeners, here's a look at my screen porch where I'm going to put all of my container roses and my spinners so that they can be protected from this Arctic blast. It's not a large area. I think we have a love seat and 2 chairs in there and our smoker, but we moved all of that to one side and put all of the plants on the side where they can get some sun. And then we've got to be conscious of, do we need to do any watering? I'm not sure if you water roses in the winter, but because they were outside reaping the dew that's naturally on the ground, I hadn't watered them. So I'm gonna just see now what I need to do. If I need to water them, I will water them, but if not, I will just let them go dormant this winter and hope for the best this spring. Okay, it's never all work and no play. I come around the side of the house after leaving the screen porch, and what do I find? 2 people swinging. My great nephew visited us during the holidays, and so him and Mert took time to just stop and relax and swing. And now Mert's back at it, picking up the last set of roses to get them over to the screen porch.
This was the last grouping of plants that I planted that I pulled up. My sister-in-law actually gave me the passion fruit and I planted it, and it did quite well growing up the trellis, and it stayed green pretty much all summer, but when winter came in it browned. And I do believe passion fruit is tropical, so I believe it needs warmer weather, but it never produced any fruit. So will I try it again in the future? Absolutely. If I'm gifted the plants, I will try it again, but I didn't get any harvest from the passion fruit. So wish me luck next time. Here I swing the camera around for you to see me at a different position pulling up the passion fruit, because what I learned from the first plant is they were pretty deep rooted. So I'm not sure why they didn't produce any fruit, but it looks like the root ball was very healthy. Okay, we picked up all the pavers that the roses were sitting on, gave them a nice little sweep so that we could store them underneath the bench there. We didn't leave them out where they are because I do plan to expand this flower bed. This coming spring, I'm going to make it a nice big island. So we picked up the pavers that the plants were sitting on. And I'm not real sure if I'm going to leave them in containers. I think a few of them I am going to plant in the ground as we approach year 2. But we're just getting tidied up because we're going to have dirt brought in. We're going to have a sprinkler system put in. And all these things will be done this spring. I'm clearing out my favorite container, which are the Western ceramic boots. They had pentas in them this summer, and they did very, very well. They are annual, but they live well into the fall, almost until the first frost. So those I will buy again, and likely not plant them in this boot, but somewhere else in the garden. As I think about it, as a beginning gardener, these were not pentas. They were kalancholy, orange kalancholy. My pentas was in another ceramic pot. So I will plant up some kalancholy and pentas this spring. They both did very well for me. This area is going to take a little pruning. I'm not sure what type of grasses these are, but they've been on the side of our house since the landscaper first planted them, and they've done really, really great. So this fall, actually winter, it's winter, I decided to trim them back just to see if we can get some fresh green growth on them when this spring comes. But the challenge was someone thought it would be easier to use the machete. But my little handy dandy device that I got from Amazon was able to move a little bit faster than the machete. So if it was a bet, I won because I was able to get mine cut down much faster than him with the machete. I'm so competitive and I love to win.